Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all to this tutorial, and we are going to be proceeding from the previous class that we had. That is the last recording that we looked at. So last time we looked at how to create a schema or a database, and how do we activate the database. Okay, because we saw that we may be having so many databases on the server, so you need to specify at least one that you're going to be working on at that particular time, because you can't work with all. Say that all the changes that you're going to add will be affecting that activated database, not any other. And then we went ahead and looked at how to create a table. And we said that to create a table, we need basically three things. We need the name of the table, the columns, that is the column name, and the data type of the column. We also looked at optionally the constraints, that you can add constraints to the column definition. So once you have the table, sometimes it happens that you may need to make some changes to the definition of the table. What you mean by the definition of the table is that statement that creates the table. Maybe you want to change the name of the table, you want to change the column name, you want to change the data type of the column, or you want to add a constraint, okay, or you want to modify something on the column. So how do we do that? In that case, this is where we come to the alter statement. Anytime you want to make some changes to the existing table definition, you want to change the name of the table, the column, anything about the column, or to add a constraint, that's when we use the alter statement. Just okay. So we can modify column specifications. That is, we can change the data type of the column. We can, okay, let me start with this. Maybe we want to add some columns to the table. We have already created our table, but we have realized that we need to add a column somewhere within our table. So we can add column. Okay, again, we use the outer statement, as you're going to see. Then maybe we want to modify something on the column. We don't want to add the column, or we don't want to remove it, but what we want is to change something on the existing column. Like in the previous table, we had maybe student, and maybe we had the column named as name, but we want to modify it to student name, or we want to change something about its data type, maybe from variable character to maybe whatever other data type that you may choose, or just the length of the number of characters. Maybe we define student with 50 characters, but we realize that, okay, some students have names longer, like longer than 50 characters, like maybe 60 characters. So how do we change from 50 to 60? Again, we use the outer statement, changing the data type, removing the columns, and renaming the columns. So this is what you're going to be looking at under the alter. So the slide obviously will take us through. Okay, so you can go through the slide. It has the syntaxes and the examples for each of the things that you are going to be looking at. So I already have my SQL opened up here, and I'm not going to open the previous work. I just want to just to start afresh, because I already have my database, which is the ERP. I have my table. I don't need the code to create the table. Okay, that's why I'm not opening anything. But if you're doing maybe in the exam, obviously you need to open up. But in this case, I don't. The only thing that I need to do is to activate the database. I don't want to create. My database is already existing, so I'm not creating a database. Why? Because I'm not interested in a new database. The database that I want is already here. So what I do is, once I open up, I just activate the database by using the use keyword, and I say use ERP. As I told you, when you activate, obviously it will bolden this and it will add the activated database up here. So if I execute this, so nothing happens, but it will activate, bold, and then it will add. So I always want to work on the database when the database is expanded. So after that, then I can add my changes, whatever I need. So in this case, we are looking at altering. Okay, so if I just extend this, maybe I want to add a column. Okay, I want to add a column on the course, name, faculty, duration. What can I add? Okay, maybe I want to add a column for tuition. Okay, for the tuition of, okay, I may not add the tuition column because tuition changes per semester. Which other thing can I add on the okay, I will add the what can I add? Course name, faculty, duration. Okay, I will add a department because a course should fall under a given department. So that's what we are going to look at. Okay, first let me use my notepad here. We are going to first of all look at how do we add. Okay, this is altering a table. Altering table definition. Table definition. And with table definition, we are looking at the table name, the column, and the constraint. Okay, because those are the things that we added while creating the table. And then one of the things, some changes. Okay, let us start actually by renaming the table. Okay, renaming the table before we go to the column. Renaming the table. So how do we change the name of the table? Maybe you want to change this table name from course to maybe courses. We just want to add the word is. I'm just opting for that, but it could be a different name. So how do we do that? So by using our alter keyword, the word alter is another word for change. Okay, we want to make some changes to something. So alter, and then the table name, I mean the keyword table, alter table, and then the name of the table, okay, which is course. I think we don't need table here. Alter course. So just put the course name, the name of the table, and then we use the keyword rename too. Okay, so we have already specified the name of the table. Okay, and then we are saying that we want to rename this table to, and then the name we want to rename to. So the name is courses. So we are just adding the letter S to the course. So when everything is fine, remember I told you the keywords, I'll always capitalize them, and other things will be in small case letters. So everything is fine. Okay, I have a problem, and I think we need to have the other keyword that I removed. So it is telling me near course rename to. So meaning that here there's something I have to specify, and yeah, I was not certain. So alter table course, then rename it, because it could be altering something else. Okay, so that's why it is important you put the object that you are altering. So when I execute, so everything is fine. Query return no result set. And if I refresh my database, you find that the table name has changed from course to courses. So I'm going to rename it back to the previous name, because most of the times if you're naming objects, you name them in singular, not in plural. So course, student, product, sale, stock. We don't say stocks, we don't say sales, we don't say in plural. We just name them in singular. So I've renamed it back to the previous name. So that is how we can rename. As I told you, you can use comments. So maybe you want to comment your code, you can say renaming a table or changing a table name. Changing a table name. Okay, then next we can look at now a column. Okay, this one was supposed to be a table. So on the table, the only thing that we can do is to rename it. Okay, to rename the table. The other thing that you can do is to drop. Okay, the other thing you can do is to drop a table. In case you no longer need the table, maybe you are just testing on it and you're done with it, so you can just drop it. But we shall look at that. Okay, then for column, what can we do on the table columns? Okay, what changes can we do? The first thing is, in case you want to add a column, how do we add a column to an existing table? So it doesn't mean that because we want to add a column department on our table course, we should first drop this table and we rewrite the create statement. No, we just have to make the modification and just add only that column that we want. So using the alter keyword, and then you want to alter the table, and then the name of the table, which is course, okay, which is course. And then what do we want to do? In this case, what we want to do is we want to add a column. So there are keywords, add, space, and then column. So on this table, we want to add a column through the alter command. And then you can go ahead and write the name of the column we want to add and its data type and any constraint that you might be having for that column. So you want to add the column department. So this is the name. And then what is the constraint? I mean the data type for this column. And it is going to be a var or variable character. Department names can maybe like up to 20. Okay, let me just say 25. And then any constraint, obviously it can be null. Okay, you can have, okay, if you want, you can say not null or null. So it depends on how you want to design your database. So I'll go for null, meaning that you can accept null values for a course record. So that is what we do. Alter table, add column, because this is now the emphasis we want to do, the changes we want to apply, and then the column name, and then the data type, the number of characters in case it is a character, and then any constraint that you might have. It could be one constraint or even more than one. So you just have to go ahead and add. So just add a comment here, adding a column to an existing table. Okay. So comments are just to demonstrate, to describe your code. So that is how we add a column. Okay. And then the other thing we can do on the column is to modify a column. Okay, I'll just move this to modify a column. So you can add a column, you can modify. Later on we shall look at how do we remove a column. So what do we mean by modifying? By modifying, we want to change something to do with the column definition. And what I mean by column definition is the data type of the column and its maybe the length. Okay, I'm not talking about changing the name of the column, but just to modify, to change its data type from maybe a variable character to another data type, or just to increase on its number of characters. I'm just going to write here. I'm just going to write up here. I'm going to write the command. This command I wrote last time. Describe course. Okay. I want to see the details of my table and all the columns. So if I execute, for example, now you can see that we see that faculty. Oh, I didn't execute this. Okay, I didn't execute this. That's why you don't see the department column, and it's a good thing. So before I even execute, if I execute from here, it is going to add the department at the end after duration, after the last column within your table. Okay, this is why it will add the department. But maybe I want my department column to come just after the faculty, not at the end. So if I don't specify, it will always add all the columns that we add at the end, after the last column within your table. But in case you want to insert it somewhere in between columns, then before you execute and before you terminate, you say after, okay, and then the name of the column you want to insert this column after. So maybe I want to insert this one after the column faculty. So I want to have code, name, faculty, and then department, and then duration. So I'm saying that I'm adding the column department after the faculty column. So I'll execute this. So everything is fine. Okay. And if I refresh here, yeah, so I have my department inserted just, but not at the end. If you don't add this, it will always add it at the bottom. So let me come back here. So now these are the definition, the details of my columns. So we are looking at modifying. What do we mean by modifying? By modifying, you are looking at the data type. what can we do with the data type? Either we are changing it to another data type, or for example, variable characters have length, number of characters. We can choose maybe to increase or to reduce. Like for example, faculty, we realize that okay, there's a faculty that has more characters than 20, so we can modify our column and we change its data type and change its length. So how do we do that? I'm going to put a comment here. You can write a better description for the comment for what you are going to be doing, making changes to a column definition. And what you mean by definition, basically something to do with the data type. Okay, something to do with the data type. Okay, so what we are going to do is, first we are going to we are going to first of all change the code. Now it is character. We want to change it to variable character. I'm just doing this to demonstrate, but in actual sense, I wouldn't like to change my code data type. But for matters of demonstration, I want to, let me first check the time. Okay. Okay, let us continue from the next tutorial, because I always want to maintain 15 minutes for each tutorial. Then we shall proceed in the next one.